Hi everybody, this is TatiannaTarot and I'm hitting you up with something new this week. This is going to be a love reading, okay? But the love reading now is subdivided into 3 separate piles. You're going to pick a pile, I'm going to read that pile, and I'm going to give you insight on your love question. So, before we begin, I want you to settle yourself. I want you to center yourself, and I want you to focus on a love intention, a love question. This is going to give you insight for this week into next week, February 26th into March 2nd, Monday, March 2nd, and give you a little information on what to expect in regards to your inquiry and your intention. So once you settle yourself, ask your intuition which pile resonates with you the most, what you're most attracted to. Select that pile and come back, and I'm going to start from 1, 2, and pile 3. Okay? So let's start with pile 1. Let's put this aside. So we're going to start with these tarot cards. The Judgment card, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords. So love is looking rather intense for you. For you guys that picked pile 1, Judgment talks about radical epiphanies. It talks about sudden realizations, breakthroughs, and aha moments that happen within your psyche, within your emotional disposition, having these realizations that usually the Judgment, this talk about a rebirth, okay? Doing a 180 in the way you perceive love, in the way that you have been projecting your energy in a love dynamic or lack thereof. There is some sort of clarity that is coming through that usually gives you indication on what you need to do to move forward for your personal evolution in regards to this context. Now, the Judgment can just literally be you waking up and getting a clear sign of some sort, having the clarity that you need. It could be an event or a circumstance that happens that gives you the answer that you're looking for, or it could just be an array of events or situations that finally click in some moment of your life and it all finally makes sense. So the thing with the Judgment is that usually there is some sort of course of action that is implied, whether you just need to accept situations for what they are, or that you are responsible and accountable for switching the dynamic to make it fall in your favor. The Judgment leaves us with something I like to call as cosmic homework. It is saying you cannot reach the next level without doing this homework. And again, that homework could just be you, hey, I just gotta accept things for what they are, or I just gotta take this one day at a time, or I should be reaching out, or maybe I don't need to reach out, or whatever this applies to you. There is that homework that's implied, like the universe is shouting at you. That's that aha moment. It's saying, you know, now is the time, now or never. With the 4 of Pentacles, some of you guys may be feeling extremely vulnerable, or may be dealing with partners that are not como se dice, they're not really revealing their true selves. The 4 of Pentacles deals with being kind of closed in. And this could be relating to someone who may have been wounded in the past, or is a bit shy and reserved, or is a bit hesitant to reveal their true colors, to reveal their true emotional states. You know, the 4 of Pentacles in general talks about starting off on a building up from scratch on a basic foundation, right? Starting off on a foundation and building upwards on that. And sometimes that requires people to kind of take a step back and focus on themselves a little bit. For some of you guys, getting the Judgment and the 4 of Pentacles could mean like, oh, wow. If it's been someone that you've been reaching out to, or someone you've been dealing with, it may be a little bit challenging to really break through and get into their heart, to get some substance that you've been longing for, whether it's attention, whether it's validation of the status of your relationship, whether it's just kind of information in general. This also could be pertaining to you. You might not be in a position where you're ready to give or ready to open up to love, even though you may want that for yourself. The Four of Pentacles is asking you, are all your bases secure? Are your finances secure? How you doing spiritually? How you doing mentally? How you doing physically? You know, don't just jump to the love aspect without checking that you are, centered and grounded yourself. Okay. And with the Ace of Swords, well, the Ace of Swords gives us new ideas. It brings in the energy of clarity. It brings in solutions. Okay. So even though there might be some stagnant energy here, all right, there might be some sort of reservation, some hesitation you're receiving from other people, or maybe you're getting the insight yourself to stand back, hold back, and check on yourself and work on yourself for a second. The Ace of Swords is saying that you will be receiving messages from maybe a partner, or you may be the person that delivers the messages to them. There will be communication. Usually this is a card of direct communication and hearing what it is that you need to hear to clear the roads up ahead. There is a solution to any problems that you are currently having. And I think maybe if there are any issues, or there has been stagnant energy, what Spirit is kind of commanding you to do is fall back for a second until you got your mind in the right place and you know the words to say. It could even be after Mercury retrograde, whenever that is, that you start to see the wheel rolling in the right direction right now. Things are very fragile. Things are very sensitive. Okay. You certainly have to tend to personal matters. Okay. And just bear that in mind, that you will be hearing from that person, or you may actually be compelled to speak out yourself when things are set and stable. So with the baraja, I pulled out one card. The baraja is like a Latin American version of tarot. It's very different from tarot, but it does have a lot of parallels. So usually, traditionally, in this divination form, we do not read just one card at a time. There's a spread, but for the sake of keeping this video short and sweet, I just pulled out one card. And in lieu of it all, this is really telling us that there's this is siete de oro, which is like 7 of gold, 7 of coins, right? And it talks about stability. It talks about success. It talks about something tangible. Like, there is hard work implied in your relationship, or lack thereof. There is hard work here, but you're building upon that. It is sustainable. There is something that is going to grow from this. There's something that is very rewarding from this. Okay. This can also bring in good news. It could bring in a lot of satisfactory news. Okay. Maybe you've been working to manifest something, and you're finally, once you get out of this murkiness, once you get out of this need for isolation, or vice versa, the partner you're working with, or maybe the people that you're dealing with, you start to see that there are signs and messages coming your way that give you the green light that this good news is coming, that this manifestation is here for you. So we're using the Moonology Oracle deck, okay? And your message is step out of your comfort zone, North Node, okay? And the North Node says there's a strong feeling when you get this card that it's time to leave the past behind somehow, because you're headed in the right direction. If you want to be happy and fulfilled, you need to get going towards the thing that scares you within reason. This card is all about living your life purpose, which is possibly what you've asked about. It is urging you to dare to do something different with your life in your direction, to take action. So are you willing to follow through and lead the life you incarnated to live? If you finally find the courage to make the leap, there's a good chance that you'll come to ask yourself, why did I wait so long? So additional meanings for this card says you are headed towards something which feels like destiny. You need to face a fear and get over it. Time to stop obsessing about someone or something. Stand on your own 2 feet. And to bring this back to the tarot cards that we have pulled, the step out of your comfort zone could be applying to the homework you need to do with the Judgment. This realization, this epiphany that things need to change in order for you to get to that next level, or that next step that you want for yourself in love. Okay? And once you do, You know, that may require you to focus on yourself, to focus on things that you are leaving behind in the past, or just kind of give yourself, you know, centering yourself at home, doing meditations, doing daily pulls for yourself, or doing whatever spiritual practices that resonate with you, that's going to give you peace of mind and clarity, that's going to help you get stable again. This is coming out here to say, you know, you're working through this stuff, and as a result, you get breakthroughs with the mind. You get answers. You get clarity. You get movement. You get clear communication. The Ace of Swords can also talk about speaking things into existence. Do not be afraid to be the first person that initiates conversation, or even if it's like you writing that person a letter and it doesn't even get delivered, but you're just putting in the energy out there. That could be an extreme help. So the last card here is from the archetype guidebook from King Kron's, and it's the Mirror. So let me just look this up real quick. And the Mirror says, the reflection, the illusion, the looking glass. We look into mirrors every day without recognizing them as portals into another realm. They can shatter, flatter, distort, reflect, and project an image back to us that we deem to be true. The energy of the mirror is all about self-perception. When the archetype of the mirror appears, we are in the mystic land of Narcissus, who saw himself reflected in a pool and fell in love with his own image. So compelled by his reflection, he could not turn away, a fixation that eventually led to his death. Recognize the power and the danger of the mirror. It is a construct, one that may drive a shard between you and your true self. The mirror contains trickster energy. Put the phone down, stop with the comparisons, and let the mirror stand empty for a while. Rest with the one inside. So this is essentially having you reflect perhaps on the person you're seeing or lack thereof, and having you reflect on what you're receiving from these mirror images, what you can learn from yourself, or what, and being mindful that you may also be projecting their best selves, or maybe looking at their potential than the reality of what they really have going on. The mirror is also asking you to dive in deep inside of yourself, to be now mostly observant before you take action on anything. You know, a lot of this reading does deal with you focusing on the self before diving into any love relationship. Okay, so just be mindful. Maybe you're dealing with a person who is narcissistic and is playing it off. Maybe you are somehow sharing that energy, but just bear that in mind. So for the people who chose pile number 2, all right, let's see the tarot selections. The Chariot, the 9 of Cups, and the Justice card. Wow, so this is really interesting because we get a lot of movement, all right? Chariot as a major arcana card, Justice as a major arcana card really talk about important themes that you are dealing with. Group number 2. So the Chariot will highlight breakthroughs happening in your life, in your love dynamic. Usually when there has been slow movement or a lack of any sort of progress, the Chariot comes through to say that things are now in alignment. You have learned your lessons. Spirit is bestowing its benevolence on you. You are doing the right things. You are on the right path, and soon you will see progress. Okay, this is a card that actually brings acceleration, growth, and excitement. For some of you guys, you may be engaged in some travel. There may be travel coming up to you. There may be somebody coming up to you who is a traveler or is coming to visit you in where you are located, right? It may be that some of you guys are engaging in travel with your partners, or if you're single, you may be traveling to meet someone. Regardless, this is breaking news for you, because it's saying, all right, things are dramatically shifting from how they were before, and we see advancement, we see excitement, things are popping off, there's passion, there's happiness, and there's almost this sense of, I will get what I want. Like, I am tired of this narrative of, why do I not have this? Why is this not working out? The Chariot doesn't have that sort of mentality at all. The Chariot is very much almost like a warrior. It's like, this will happen because I will make it happen. And that sense of inner conviction, that sense of inner magic, knowing what he's working with, is really allowing the universe to line up with him and make these roads now appear when there were no roads before. So that moving into the Nine of Cups, all right, this could be a very fast week for you to see a lot of acceleration and positivity in your love dynamics. The Nine of Cups talks about indulgence. Okay, it's a very, very romantic card, but it also highlights the importance of the individual. So for you, maybe one of the reasons why things are now popping off for you is because you got yourself correct. You got yourself thriving internally. You got your emotions in check. You're feeding yourself. You're nourishing yourself. You're fulfilling yourself. You're feeling yourself. Nine of Cups is confidence. It's luxury. It's abundance. It's the as you wish card, right? So it's almost saying like, I know I am going to attract what I want, or I know I can get the upper hand of this situation. I am, for some people who are in a relationship, you may be doted on. You may be going out to dinners. You may be surprised by an unexpected trip here. You may be really having a healthy, thriving sexual life, or really planning into the future. Things you want to do with your partner that builds up on the relationship, that invests in the relationship. Nine of Cups is saying all the work that you've been putting in yourself and in your partner, or whatever position you have been in, is going to pay off. You will get your wishes fulfilled. Justice is here to confirm that. Justice teaches us about karma. It is the distribution of fairness and karma and the law. And so justice is saying that these two movements were inevitable. Justice is saying that this is the right time. So pay attention to what is happening this week, Group 2, because it certainly looks like things are falling in your favor, and you're going to be really feeling excited and happy and fulfilled and loved, regardless of what position you are in. Justice is saying you also need to accept things for what they are. It is what it is type of situation. Everything has cause and effect. So the more positive energy you put into yourself, the more visualizations, the more you claim it, the more it will come to you. Okay, so let's check the baraja. And so with the baraja, we get El Rey de Oro, the King of Gold, the King of Coins, which is an optimal position to have. King of Coins, it talks about mastery, talks about professionalism, talks about stability, talks about someone here who is really super invested in you. Okay, this is somebody who doesn't just want to play games with you, maybe wants to start a family, wants to get in a very serious relationship. They could be business-like, okay, business oriented, or has business the mentality of a savvy businessman or woman or what have you. They're very passionate and they exhibit an authoritative power, but not obnoxiously so. This brings a lot. Again, this is a card of great success, okay? And someone who could be educated. So this could be someone that is entering your life, or you will have this sort of relationship and dynamic soon that is not going anywhere. Or this could even be talking about the placement of the relationship that you're in now, that is going to be even more solid, that it is going to bring in riches and rewards, that is going to bring success for both parties involved, okay? And so the Moonology Oracle deck says the answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. So this says, this card is a reminder that it is important to speak your truth, but remember that words have consequences and impact your listener. So right now you need to guard against indiscretion. All right, the answers you need may come soon. The issue you could be facing could be one or a few conversations away from being resolved. If you are inquiring about a love situation, a little flirting may be called for. If you're in the middle of an argument, this card comes to remind you of the very old non-Gemini message, least said, soonest mended. It's good to talk, but be careful you aren't causing yourself any issues with your words. Again, remember, it's Mercury retrograde. We have the intensity of the Chariot. You know, the Chariot is energy. Okay, it has no positive or negative connotations. It's the way you use it. Again, the Justice card, cause and effect. What you put into it is what you're going to get out. So it looks like this is very favorable to you, but one slip of the lip in the wrong direction and it could cost you. Okay, so your word is your wand. You create magic in your own reality every time you express yourself. So additional meanings is don't be superficial. Someone may be trying to flirt with you. Okay, you need to just laugh off situations and move on. All right, so this could be applying to any of these situations. All right, and this last archetype oracle card, the Eternal Child. So the Eternal Child says, the Eternal Child is connected to the timeless, ageless, and infinite aspect of life. It is radiant and fearless and seeks joy above anything else at all costs. It struggles being bound to an aging body with physical limitations in a world that demands attention to detail and logistics. The Eternal Child wants to nix all rules and responsibilities and go beyond what others say is possible. It wants to return to the land of the free, where divine wine and creativity pour from the sky and earth. We all want to sip from the well of eternal youth, and this makes the Eternal Child naturally popular, perhaps even famous. It reminds us of what is possible and what is magical about this precious life. So this is really saying play with yourself, you know? Not literally, I mean, unless you want to, but it's like play with be playful. Don't take things so serious. Again, remember the message of the full moon in Gemini. The answers that you need are coming. And it doesn't even matter that we just got out of this new moon in Pisces. This is still applicable regardless of what transit and aspect are going on astrologically. The Eternal Child is saying be loose with it. Really have fun. Tap into your inner child. You know, go with the flow. Be magical. Know that you are magic. Again, hinting on that Nine of Cups energy. You know, I am feeling myself. I am drinking all the cups. I am living my best life. So for those that chose group number 3, okay, I'm about to get into this. We have the Tower, the Ace of Wands, the Seven of Wands. So automatically we see struggle. We see struggle. We see the universe now imposing its will in your love relationship or your life or your mentality to say, hey, something here isn't stable. Something here isn't right. You do not want to build upon this because inevitably it's just not going to work out for you and it's going to slip. This is not to say that there are breakups, but there's certainly a shocking moment, a shocking revelation, some sort of an energy that is telling you to wake up, that is telling you you got work to do here. Okay, the Tower will pull the rug from your feet to get you to realize that you have power that you need to use to fix this situation. All right, and that's where we see the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands talks about jumping into action. This is an initiation for a lot of you guys. This week can present itself as an initiation and a test. How much do you really want this? You know, so love takes work. It's not all Disney and roses. Sometimes this could pertain to things outside of your life that are still interconnected with your love dynamic. Doesn't necessarily mean that things are happening in your relationship. Could be something that is triggered personally that is going to affect how you show up in your love relationships or what you attract in your love relationships. And the Ace of Wands also says that you have the thought or you have the notion to do things in the right way. And that you should not be sleeping on yourself. Any ideas, any suggestions, anything that you want to do to fix the Tower, you need to get started on that immediately. There's a sense of urgency and immediacy here. It's almost like in some way, this sort of breakdown reveals your true power, your true essence, and what you really want for yourself. It takes out the best in you. You're coming to save the day in some way. Ace of Wands can also talk about sexual energy. Sexual energy. So if you're willy-nilly with everyone, you want to be cautious of that, because you don't want, you don't know other people's love history and what energy they're carrying, and you don't want that to influence your energy in any way. Okay, you got this fire energy that is allowing you to just kind of burst out in the scenes and make yourself known. It's allowing you to be very confident. It's allowing you to gain this motivation that has come out of thin air. But again, do not sleep on this situation. Anything that is waving a red flag, you need to tend to it right away. And it may not be easy. And we got the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is a fighter. You see him kind of attacking these crocodiles. And trying to make his way around. So the Seven of Wands is saying you're going to need to be heard and seen. Whatever is happening in your love dynamic, whether the Tower is like, wow, I've had horrible experiences in the past. The Wands is saying, well, hey, this is actually burning a new path for you. You should feel reinvigorated. You should feel inspired to do things now in a different way. You should be holding yourself to the highest regard. You have this inner resilience that is going to help you get what you want. Seven of Wands does talk about victory and success, but first you need to put up a fight for it. So if you feel like you've been going through the trenches and just been going through it, keep on. Do not lose hope. Do not lose faith. But also, in any sort of love dynamic, make sure you're heard. Don't be meek. This is not a time to be shy. Okay? And so for your Baraja card, you're getting Sota de Oro. It's really interesting that everybody got Oro today. Sota de Oro is like a woman, kind of like maybe the queen of gold, the queen of coins, a woman of coins. Okay? And she's actually a natural leader. So you need to rise and not be a victim. Okay, you need to rise and lead yourself out of this situation. If you are in a toxic relationship, get out of it immediately. If you or if it's salvage, if it's manageable, if it can be solved, take initiative and be the one that presents new boundaries or a solution or options. And if that's not working, then you know what to do moving forward. But she's a leader. She's an entrepreneur. She's got queenly energy. Know your worth. All right. You're getting a second chance to rebuild things in the right way. This should be a very exciting time. For some of you, you may be getting some sort of a blessing or an invitation. Could be someone coming into your life that shows promise, that shows, who is sincere. So for some of you that have been going through it for a while, going through some issues, let's say there's issues in a relationship and you don't think that anything is going to happen. Well, there is a solution that's going to be presented. It may look a little chaotic right now. It's messy, so you want to make sure that you're not loose with the lip either. With the Ace of Wands, this is a lot of fire energy. So is the Seven of Wands. Make sure that you're heard. Make sure that nobody takes you for a pushover. But that doesn't mean you need to be disrespectful or aggressive. Now, for those that feel like they've been going through trials and tribulations that are single, after the Seven of Wands, the breakthrough is that you will have somebody here. You will have somebody substantial here. Okay? So let's see the Moonology deck. It says nothing will come out of this situation. Void, of course, moon. All right. And this says, in a form of astrology known as horary, and where an astrological chart is cast according to when the question is asked and decoded, a void, of course, moon means nothing will come of this matter or the situation will bear no fruit. This may or may not be good news depending on what you're asking. If you were worried about something, whatever it was, this card can be taken as a sign that there is nothing to worry about. But if you're asking about a new project of any kind, including a new relationship, it is a sign to adjust your expectations or change things so that you get a different outcome. Again, pay attention to those red flags. Treat yourself as a queen. Don't just do nothing about it. If you see something that's fishy, if you see something, say something. Basically, do something, right? So essentially, yes, the power really lies within you. You just want to be tactful with it. You want to be cautious. You know, the Tower makes things a very, very delicate situation. You yourself may be extremely sensitive or dealing with sensitive people around you. So, you know, just act accordingly. And the last card using the archetypal deck is the Mentor. All right. And the Mentor says, it is said that cosmic knowledge pours down on the world like a great illuminated waterfall. This could be an overwhelming force. The true teacher, though, is said to be able to hold this flow of wisdom at bay while the student sips from a focused stream. The Mentor archetype has a gift for reading the room, for sensing the exact gradient that will stimulate growth within the student. The Mentor may appear aloof or available, harsh or tender, humorous or rigid. Their gift is to know what serves the soul. Ultimately, the Mentor is in service of the greater cosmic good and aids in the elevation of consciousness. Anytime that Mentor forgets this humble link and mistakes themselves for the source of enlightenment, archetype falls in shadow. Okay, so this whole situation is mentoring you. This whole situation is teaching you. If you have someone you're dealing with that things are not Gucci, you know, they just bear in mind that this is serving as an important lesson. Or in some way, you may be a teacher to them. Okay? Alternatively, the Mentor could be that you need assistance. Maybe you need an additional perspective. You need an additional angle. You need further insight. You may need to go to, you know, a therapist. You may need to go to a reader of some sort, an elder, you know, to help you with this situation, to help you to manage things appropriately. So those are the 3 piles. That is the information for the week. If you like the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment on your experiences for this week ahead. Feel free to share this with your loved ones and your friends. And if you'd like to book a session with me, please visit my website, www.TatiannaTarot.com. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter, where I post daily meditations, weekly scopes, and monthly tarot scopes for you too. And that is at TatiannaTarot. Feel free to send me an email if you are coming to visit New Orleans within the next couple of weeks or months, and that is hello@TatiannaTarot.com, as I also offer in-person sessions. Thank you.